I heard the banging before I even opened the front door. Deep rhythmic thuds coming from somewhere inside the house, muffled but desperate. I'd just driven 6 hours straight from the hospital, where my mother was in intensive care, her body fighting sepsis after what should have been routine surgery. I was exhausted, hollow, running on nothing but coffee and adrenaline. The house was supposed to be empty. My brother Marcus had texted me that morning, saying he'd gone back to his apartment in the city. My father was supposed to be at his weekly poker game. But the banging continued, methodical, insistent. I dropped my bag in the hallway and followed the sound. It led me to the basement door. The door was closed, and there was a sliding bolt lock installed on the outside, new hardware, still shiny. The kind you'd use to keep someone in. "Dad?" I called out. The banging stopped. Then I heard his voice, hoarse and strained. Emma, is that you?" I slid the bolt open and pulled the door wide. My father was at the bottom of the stairs, gripping the railing, his face pale and drawn. He was still wearing his reading glasses. His shirt was wrinkled, damp with sweat. "What happened?" I moved down the stairs quickly, reaching for his arm. "Are you hurt, Marcus?" he said, breathing hard. "Marcus locked me down here yesterday afternoon. I've been..." He stopped, steadied himself against the wall. "I've been trying to get out." I looked past him into the basement. There was a folding chair near the washing machine, an empty water bottle on the floor, a plate with crumbs. It looked staged, deliberate. Why would he do that? My father shook his head. "I don't know. We had an argument. He said I needed to stay down here until I agreed to sign something. I told him no." He locked the door. I helped him upstairs, got him water, made him sit. His hands were shaking. He was 71, fit for his age but not strong enough to break down a door. I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Marcus. No voicemail. I called him. He answered on the second ring. "Emma, you're home? What did you do?" There was a pause. I could hear traffic in the background, voices. "I needed time. Time to talk to him without you interfering. You locked him in the basement." "He's fine. I left him water, food. He's being dramatic." "Marcus? He's 71 years old. What the hell is wrong with you?" "Ask him about the trust, Emma. Ask him what he's been doing with Mom's medical power of attorney. Then call me back." He hung up. I sat down across from my father. He was staring at the table, his jaw tight. "What trust?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he looked up at me, and I saw something I didn't recognize. Not fear, not anger, resignation. "Your mother and I set up a revocable trust 20 years ago," he said quietly. "Everything we own goes into it. The house, the savings, the investments. When one of us dies, the other controls it. When we're both gone, it's split between you and Marcus. I know that. You told us. But there's a clause," he continued. "If one of us becomes incapacitated, the other has the authority to make changes, to protect the assets." I felt a chill spread through my chest. "What kind of changes?" "Marcus thinks I'm trying to cut him out." "Are you?" He looked at me for a long time. "Your mother's medical bills are going to be significant. The insurance will cover some of it, but not all. I've been moving money around, liquidating some investments, making sure we can pay for her care. Marcus saw the transactions. He thinks I'm hiding money. He thinks I'm planning to rewrite the trust and leave everything to you." "That's insane. Is it?" His voice was soft, almost sad. "You're the one who stayed local. You're the one who visits. You're the one sitting with your mother right now while she's dying. Marcus hasn't been to the hospital once." I didn't know what to say. It was true. Marcus had always been distant, always busy with his job and finance, his life 2 hours away, but I'd never thought it mattered, not like this. "I'm not cutting him out," my father said, "but he doesn't believe me." I tried calling Marcus again. He didn't pick up. I texted him, "We need to talk. Come back." No response. I stayed with my father that night. I didn't want to leave him alone. I kept thinking about the bolt lock, the chair in the basement, the careful way Marcus had set it up. It wasn't impulsive. It was planned. The next morning, I drove back to the hospital. My mother was stable but sedated, her body still fighting the infection. The doctor, a calm woman in her 40s with kind eyes, gave me an update, guarded prognosis. Wait and see. I sat with my mother for an hour holding her hand, trying not to think about what was happening at home. When I got back that evening, my father was in his study, surrounded by paperwork. Bank statements, trust documents, insurance forms. He looked up when I walked in. "I'm trying to find something," he said. "Proof that I haven't moved anything inappropriately. But it's all legitimate. Every transfer, every withdrawal. It's all for your mother's care. You don't have to prove anything." "I do, because Marcus won't stop until he sees it." I sat down next to him and started going through the papers. My father was meticulous. Every transaction was logged, every medical bill matched to a payment. There was nothing hidden, nothing suspicious. But then I found something else. A letter tucked inside a folder marked estate planning. It was from Marcus, dated 3 months ago. Addressed to a lawyer. I read it twice. In the letter, Marcus was requesting information about contesting a trust. He wanted to know if he could challenge the terms, argue undue influence, claim that our father was mentally unfit to manage the assets. The lawyer had responded with a careful, non-committal answer. Possible, but difficult. Would require evidence. I handed the letter to my father. He read it. His face unreadable. "He's been planning this," I said. "I know." "For how long?" "Since your mother got sick." I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not yet. Just clarity. Marcus wasn't acting out of confusion or fear. He was acting out of greed. He saw an opportunity, and he was taking it. I called the lawyer whose name was on the letter. A man named Richard Carpenter, with an office downtown. I explained who I was, that I'd found correspondence between him and my brother, and that I needed to understand what Marcus was trying to do. Mr. Carpenter was cautious at first. "Attorney-client privilege," he said. But when I mentioned the basement, the lock, the coercion, his tone changed. "I advised your brother against pursuing this," he said. "I told him that contesting a trust without clear evidence of incapacity or fraud would likely fail. I also told him that pressuring your father to make changes under duress would invalidate any modifications." Did he listen? He stopped returning my calls. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called an attorney of my own, a woman named Patricia Hayes, someone I'd worked with years ago on a contract dispute at my job. She agreed to meet with me the next day. In her office, I laid out everything. The trust, the medical bills, the letter, the basement. She listened carefully, taking notes. "Your brother has no legal standing to lock your father anywhere," she said. "That's false imprisonment, possibly elder abuse depending on the circumstances. If you want to pursue charges, you can. I don't want to put my father through that. Then we focus on protecting the trust. Your father needs to document everything, every financial decision, every medical expense. We'll prepare a declaration affirming his mental competency, signed by his physician. And we'll put your brother on notice that any further attempts to interfere will result in legal action." "What if he contests the trust anyway?" "He can try. But if your father's records are clean and his doctor confirms competency, Marcus won't get far. Judges don't look kindly on children who try to manipulate elderly parents for financial gain." I left her office feeling steadier. Not relieved, just focused. That weekend, I took my father to his primary care physician, Dr. Leland, a man who'd been treating him for 15 years. I explained the situation carefully. "Doctor." Leland frowned. "Your father is sharp as ever," he said. "I've seen no signs of cognitive decline, no memory issues, no impaired judgment. I'd be happy to provide a written assessment." He did. A 2-page letter affirming my father's mental and physical competency, noting his active lifestyle, his clear communication, his understanding of complex financial matters. Patricia filed it with the trust documents. Marcus finally called me back a week later. "I want to talk," he said. "About what?" "About the trust. About making sure everything's fair." "Fair for who?" He hesitated. "For both of us. Come to the house," I said. "Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. He agreed. I didn't tell my father. I didn't want him to prepare, to script anything. I wanted Marcus to see him as he was, calm, competent, in control. Marcus arrived exactly on time. He looked the same as always, pressed shirt, expensive watch. The carefully maintained appearance of success. He nodded at me, then walked into the living room where my father was sitting. "Dade, Marcus. They stared at each other for a moment. Then Marcus sat down. I think we need to talk about Mom's care, Marcus said, and about how we're managing the costs. I'm managing them, my father said evenly. The same way I've managed everything for 50 years. I'm not questioning your ability. I just think we should have transparency. Both Emma and I should know where the money's going. You're welcome to review the statements. They're all here. My father gestured to a folder on the coffee table. Every bill, every payment, every transaction. Marcus picked up the folder, flipped through it. I watched his face. He was looking for something, some inconsistency, some gap he could exploit, but there was nothing. What about the trust? Marcus asked. Have you made any changes? No. Are you planning to? No. Marcus set the folder down. I heard you met with a lawyer. I did. To make sure everything is in order. To protect your mother and myself from exactly this kind of conversation. What's that supposed to mean? It means I know what you're trying to do, Marcus, and it's not going to work. The room went quiet. Marcus looked at me, then back at our father. I'm not trying to do anything, he said. I'm trying to protect my inheritance. Your inheritance is secure, my father said. It always has been, but it's not yours yet. And as long as I'm alive and competent, I'll manage it the way I see fit. Marcus stood up. This isn't over. Yes, it is. He left without another word. I watched him walk to his car, his shoulders tight, his movements sharp. I didn't feel sorry for him. I felt tired. My mother came home from the hospital 3 weeks later. She was weak, but recovering. The infection had cleared, and the doctors were cautiously optimistic. My father took care of her with the same quiet diligence he'd always shown. I visited twice a week, bringing groceries, helping with errands. Marcus didn't visit. He didn't call. But a month after the meeting, I received a notice in the mail. Marcus had filed a petition with the probate court, requesting a review of the trust and an evaluation of our father's competency. Patricia wasn't surprised. He's grasping, she said, but he's not going to win. We have medical documentation, financial records, and witness testimony. The court will see this for what it is. The hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks later. My father was calm about it, almost indifferent. My mother was less so. She was angry in a way I'd never seen, quiet, simmering, precise. He's doing this while I'm still alive, she said one afternoon. He can't even wait until we're gone. I didn't know what to say. There was nothing to say. The hearing took place in a small courtroom with wood paneling and fluorescent lights. Marcus was there with his own attorney, a sharp-faced man in a gray suit. Patricia sat beside my father and me. The judge, an older woman with steel gray hair and reading glasses, reviewed the filings carefully. Marcus's attorney spoke first, outlining concerns about financial mismanagement, lack of transparency, potential undue influence. It sounded rehearsed, hollow. Then Patricia stood. She presented the medical evaluation, the financial records, the trust documents. She called Dr. Lilland as a witness. He testified clearly, confidently. My father was competent. There was no evidence of impairment. The judge asked my father a few questions directly. He answered each one without hesitation, his voice steady. When it was over, the judge set down her pen and looked at Marcus. I see no basis for this petition, she said. The trust is valid. The financial management is appropriate, and there is no evidence of incapacity or undue influence. Your father has every right to manage his affairs as he sees fit. This petition is denied. Marcus's face went blank. He didn't argue. He just stood and walked out. Outside the courthouse, Patricia shook my father's hand. That's the end of it, she said. He can't file again without new evidence. My father nodded. He looked tired, but not defeated. Just done. We drove home in silence. My mother was waiting for us, sitting in the living room with a cup of tea. My father told her what had happened. She nodded, unsurprised. He'll have to live with this, she said quietly. We won't. Marcus didn't contact us after that, not for months. Eventually, my mother sent him a brief email, letting him know she was recovering, that the door was open if he wanted to talk. He never responded. A year later, my parents revised their will. They didn't cut Marcus out, but they added a clause. Any beneficiary who contested the trust or the will without reasonable cause would forfeit their share. It was a quiet safeguard, a final boundary. I asked my father once if he regretted how things had turned out. No, he said. I regret that it had to happen. But I don't regret protecting what your mother and I built. I understood. Some relationships don't survive the truth, and some truths are worth protecting, even at that cost. If you've ever had to choose between family loyalty and doing what's right, you're not alone.